truth is you're not supposed to be where you want to be. You're supposed to be exactly where you are because you're supposed to continue to stay consistent, take action, and put in the work today, because whatever you do today is compounding all the time. Think about the success of a famous soccer player like Ronaldo. His success came from starting when he was freaking 4 years old, kicking his ball around in bloody Portugal somewhere. All of a sudden he's playing for Manchester United and he's freaking scoring goals fucking 30, 40 meters out. You have to be on that frequency, evolve and grow, and to keep leveling up for me to be able to attract this kind of energy towards me.
I'm Luke, and you're listening to the Luke Mind Power Podcast.
What's up, guys? How you doing? It's a blessing to be alive. I'm super pumped for this podcast episode because I'm sitting in the back of a Maybach, which is a extra ultra luxury Mercedes. And I also have to give a big credit to a good friend of mine who I met in Dubai. His name is Radhan Jerome, and he is a very powerful entrepreneur, actually from Australia, and he connected with me, and we got talking. I was like, man, you got to give me that car. Let me sit in the back of that car. But nah, it's one thing I'll touch on straight away, because you're probably wondering, you're like, what are you doing in the back of a Maybach? Why are you doing a podcast in here? I'm actually trying to, again, it's about getting out of your comfort zone, doing something different. I already came up with the word Maybach motivation, right? So you're going to get some motivation throughout this podcast episode in the back of something that is ultra luxury and very expensive, okay? And the one thing that I really, really believe in is energy. And what I mean by that is that everything is energy. Everything is vibrating on a specific frequency. And so the one thing that I am very aware of is, again, the energy that you surround yourself with is the energy that then you become, right? So that's one of the major keys to success, is your environment, is what you surround yourself with. Now, I get it. There are so many people that say, save your money, drive a fucking Honda for as long as you can, save as much money as you can, don't invest your money into materialistic possessions and cars and all this kind of shit, right? And sure, you have to be aware of like where you're investing your money, how you're spending your money and all that kind of stuff. But it's all about your lifestyle. It changes your lifestyle. It gives you the ability to be able to have the finer things, in a sense, right? Versus you having a Monday to Friday job where you're getting paid 80 grand, or you're getting paid 100 grand, or you're getting paid 120 grand. It limits you in a specific way, right? So, people can say, you've got a nice car, but it's on a lease, right? It's like, yeah, but if you didn't have a company, you wouldn't be able to afford to be able to pay that lease, right? So it's relative to what you're doing in your life. And, you got to step back as well. And I'll get back to I know I'm digressing, I'll get back to the environment and to the energy of what you surround yourself with. But, it's relative to what kind of life you want to live. And the truth is, we're not here for a long time, okay? And time goes so quickly. So you have a choice. What do you want to surround yourself with? What fuels you? What empowers you? What inspires you? What keeps you moving? And one thing for me growing up, like, I was always investing my money in cars. I was in debt as soon as I was 17 or 18 when I got my license. The first thing that I did, right, was I went to the bank and I got a personal loan for $5,000 because I wanted to buy a car, because, it was my ego. I'm a young 18-year-old man, a boy, whatever you want, a teenager. And I was like, get my license and I want to fucking get a car. So I remember getting a Ford Falcon. It was manual, and it was lowered, right? It was had a straight six engine, and I ended up putting a big Canon exhaust on the back, and changed the wheels, and I got a new stereo in it, and I loved cars. And so, but that was one of the decisions that I made that basically spiraled me into debt, because that car cost me I was in the bloody mechanics every week, because I bought it from someone who, done up cars and basically lowered the shit out of them, took the springs out, and then, burnouts and all that shit. So the car was pretty much thrashed when I bought it. And so all that was happening while I was driving it was just the freaking tail shaft fell off, the diff was screwed. And that just basically put me in more debt, because I didn't have the money to pay the mechanics. And so I had it built up this massive bill. And then eventually I paid that off. I got another loan, sold that car. And then I remember getting a Toyota Starlet from my brother-in-law, because I'd been so screwed over with this car that, my brother-in-law had a business and he had that spare car. It was a little Toyota Starlet. And again, what did I do with that car? I bought white rims. I lowered it. It was manual. I put a system in it, system being stereo. And, that was my way of feeling good about myself, because I liked cars. And I guess it was also a little bit about the ego and about like, look at me, the attention. And that's the kind of the young mindset of a male, so I kind of went through that journey. And then from then I bought what did I buy after that? I think I bought a Volkswagen GTI. And then after that I bought a Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 8 MR. Then I bought a Nissan Skyline GT 350. So like I went through these phases, but I spent a lot of money on cars, and I was always in debt. I was in debt from 18 to 28. So I was just, that was my life. I was working, partying, taking drugs, going out, having a good time. You didn't have a purpose, didn't know what I was good at, didn't know what my greatness was, what my gift was. But I was always asking these kind of questions. And again, I had no conception of reality, of like what it is to surround yourself with the right people, with the right energy, with the right environment, how it impacts your life. And so now, as I went through that journey with cars, what happened when I started growing and I started changing when I was 33, my grandmother passed away. So there I had this epiphany moment, and I realized that, you know what? If I continue to surround myself with the boys that I'm surrounding myself with, if I keep working at this job, if I keep living in Australia and I keep doing what I've always done, I'm going to keep getting what I've always gotten. I'm going to keep living the same life. So, and it's funny that I'm in the back of a Maybach. Is this a S600? Yeah, S600. So, I had a relationship with someone that was a really wealthy woman. She was like, she had a G55 AMG. I had that relationship for about 2.5 years. And so I actually experienced a very, very luxury lifestyle, even when I was in debt. Like this was back when I was 26, 27 years old. So it's crazy that now I'm living in Dubai, and I'm surrounded by so much success, so much wealth. And I'm sitting in the back of a Maybach, which is a very expensive car. And let me go back now to energy, right? Because when you think about what it takes to earn $1 million, what it takes to earn a lot of money. It takes consistency, discipline. You got to have freaking drive. You got to be freaking wise. You got to have a lot of knowledge. You got to connect with the right people, right? It takes time. You got to have patience for that shit, right? So if you think about the success of a brand like Mercedes-Benz, how did that evolve? Where did that come from? What, you think they just all of a sudden freaking decided I'm gonna create a car company and it just became successful overnight? Never. It's like Messi, the soccer player, or Ronaldo going through, and I've watched this because my nephew is a up and coming professional soccer player, and my sister and my brother-in-law, all they do every week is they take him to training 3 or 4 times a week. Then he has a game on the weekend. And I've been watching this for the last like 5, 7, 6, 7 years, and he's like, how old is he? 14. So like since he was 6 or 7 years old, they've been taking him to soccer and going every week, training, getting up at 6 a.m, taking him to training. And so I've been witnessing this. And then once upon a time, you will see someone like Messi or someone like Neymar Jr. or someone like Ronaldo, when he's 16 or 17, gets his break in Manchester United or Barcelona or, one of the, big soccer clubs. And all of a sudden he becomes world renowned, world known, famous overnight, right? And it doesn't happen fucking overnight. Like, you want success, you want that next level of life, you want to become the best version of yourself, and you're not willing to put in the work, right? So there is a process, and every single day that you take action to help yourself become a better version of yourself, what happens? You are successful in that moment already. Everybody wants that success already, but the thing is, the truth is, your success is actually right here. Like, my success is in this moment, because every single day it's compounding to that level of life that I'm achieving. And in order for you to achieve that real massive success and whatever it is that your goal and vision is, you have to put the work in today. So we get complacent, we get unhappy, we get frustrated because we're not where we want to be. And the truth is, you're not supposed to be where you want to be. You're supposed to be exactly where you are, because you're supposed to continue to stay consistent, take action, and put in the work today, because whatever you do today is compounding all the time. So you think about the success of a famous soccer player like Ronaldo. His success came from starting when he was freaking 4 years old, kicking the ball around in bloody Portugal somewhere, right? And then all the way up to 16, 17, all of a sudden he's playing for Manchester United and he's freaking scoring goals fucking 30, 40 meters out. The best freaking free kick player in the world. But all this shit you didn't see. And then you look at people who are successful, you look at people that are driving Ferraris, or you look at me who's sitting in a Maybach, and you're like, well, how did that happen? Well, how did I connect with my friend? Right? You have to be on that frequency. I had to evolve and grow and to keep leveling up for me to be able to attract this kind of energy towards me. Because you become what you attract what you are, not what you want. Okay? This is the secret. You know, and so now you can ask me, well, why are you sitting in the back of a Maybach? I'm like, because it's very, very expensive. It's on a higher frequency. And when you surround yourself with this kind of energy, what are you doing? Does it feel good? Absolutely. Feels extraordinary. How does that affect my energy? Makes me feel even more better. And it's like the difference between last year when I first started my coaching business, I was still driving my dad's Toyota Camry. And I remember I bought my parents a car for the first time, because I was like, you know, I want to give back. Before I do anything for anyone, I'm buying my parents. So I bought them an Audi. And before I do anything for anyone, I was like, nah, parents are first. I'm going to take care of them. So I bought them an Audi, and then I forgot about me. And a couple of months later, my friend Danilo goes, bro, what are you doing, man? You're still driving this 1994 Toyota Camry. And I'm like, yeah, fuck, I forgot about that. So what did I buy? Did I buy a Lexus? Did I go buy a Toyota or something? Like, no, I want to buy something that when I sit in it, I'm going to feel good, you know? So I bought myself a BMW. Guess what? Every single time I sit in that car, I felt good. It made me feel some type of way. It's the same thing as surrounding yourself with good people who are positive. This car is like a representation of a healthy relationship, of someone who, when I am around them, they make me feel good. They inspire me, they motivate me. I look at this leather and this energy of like the material, of the quality of this freaking car, and I'm like, wow, it's freaking so nice. Just like sitting with someone who is so positive, motivated, inspired, they're successful, and all you hear from them is not talking about other people, not complaining about life, not gossiping and shit. They're talking about ideas, visions, dreams, goals, what they're working towards. That's the kind of energy that you want to surround yourself with, man. So this is a huge lesson for you, man, because this is something that I never realized. And in order for me to become the person that I am today, I had to change my environment. I had to fucking grow. I had to let go of the past. I had to heal the past. I had to learn to love myself. I had to, you know, really look at my life and go, where do I want to be in 5 years' time? And this is me 5 years later. Like, I was fucking using coke. I was alcohol all the time. I was working 2 jobs, 15 hours a day to pay my bills and fucking try and save money and invest with my sister and brother-in-law in our property development. And I was hustling hard. But I didn't realize that I was also in my own way. And so it wasn't until, you know, and it's kind of sad in a way, but the truth is the pain of passing of someone that's close to you, I think that death is probably one of the things that hurts us the most. When you lose a loved one, when you lose a parent or a sister or brother or some best friend, someone that's really close to you, it hurts you and affects you in some sort of way. And it's sad that pain has to be the motivator, right? That changes you. And so that was definitely a catalyst for me, my grandmother passing. And it's like, well, she lived in Poland and I never really was that close to her, but I was very attached to the Polish culture. And so, because again, I didn't have my own identity, you know, so I was even not calling myself Luke. My name was Łukasz. That's what everyone would call me. But I don't see myself as that. You know, I used to be so attached to that because I wanted purpose. I wanted to feel like, you know, and that's the thing. What do we want to be close to? We want to be close to something that gives us some sort of meaning in life. And so that was giving me meaning, you know, and I was like, you know, even when people like in Australia, like I grew up in a very Middle Eastern culture, like Middle Eastern suburb, Lakemba. There was a mosque on the street. Every Friday there was prayers, and I went to a school that had a lot of Lebanese boys and Middle Eastern, but there was a few Europeans and Asian as well. And so I felt like the odd one out as well. So what did I attach myself to? No, I'm not Australian, even though I was born there. I used to say I'm Polish all the time. And like literally now, even my personal trainer is like, so you're going back home? I said, what? I said, nah, man. I said, I was born in Australia. I'm from Australia. Poland is like my cousins and my family, but my sister lives there as well. But yeah, I don't identify with that. I just, I don't even like kind of identify with being Australian. I was born there, but I'm just a human on this planet and here to explore and to reach my full potential and to be the best version of myself and to surround myself with good people, make a positive impact in this world, And so by realizing that you're the one that's possibly in your own way and your own little fears and doubts, and maybe you just haven't explored yourself enough. I remember being high on MDMA one fucking night. It was a Sunday morning because like I was living at Danilo's house. My best friend is a DJ. Go on Instagram and follow him, DJ_Danilo official. And we used to party. We used to take fucking ecstasy and MDMA and shit. And I remember one morning we were fucked. Like we were like our brains were fried because we were taking too much of these drugs, but we're having a good time. That was the whole purpose of it, right? You can say, oh, my brains were fried. Oh my God, you're a druggo and shit. I was like, man, we're fucking drinking. We're having a good time. That's what we did. I was 24 probably. And so I remember sitting on the stairs in his house and there was a couple of us. And I remember his brother, he was like, explore yourself. And I'll never forget that. It's amazing how something so simple can still sit in your brain. And I remember him saying that, explore yourself, explore yourself, explore yourself. And the truth is, many of us never do. Many of us never explore ourselves, to explore what it is that you're good at, who it is that you are. We don't invest in our personal development. It's like, why wouldn't you invest in your personal development? Like, I've invested fucking thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars into my own personal development to get myself out of my comfort zone, to grow, to build self-confidence, to love myself, to speak my truth, to share my story, to not be afraid of standing in front of people. Like, communication is the key to your success. When you learn to be able to be emotionally intelligent, to understand the power of communication, you're fucking done, mate. There's no way that you won't be successful if you get yourself out of your comfort zone and you develop your ability to communicate, to speak your truth, to trust yourself. Many relationships in the past, I never spoke my truth because I was afraid of hurting other people's feelings, afraid of what they might feel and think of me, or I didn't want to hurt them. So I was rather disrespecting myself and hurting myself because I didn't want to hurt someone else. So now it's the opposite. Now I speak my truth. I'm okay with somebody getting hurt, their feelings, simply because I speak my truth, because I can't disrespect myself anymore. If I feel something that's necessary that I need to say, I'll say it. And sometimes you have to do it when you're scared, when you're nervous, when it's uncomfortable. But guess what? When you love yourself, you'll always honor that. When your intuition steps in and you feel that in your gut, you show up for yourself, and that's the one thing. I posted something on my Instagram and it said something like, dear self, I choose you. I'm sorry that it took so long. I didn't know that I couldn't heal in the same environment that made me sick. I love you. And that was like a little note to myself, because many times we forget about ourselves. We put ourselves on the back burner. We put ourselves last. We put other people's feelings and emotions ahead of ours. And that is where you lose in your life, because you put other people first. And I got to this point in my life where I said, you know what? Fuck other people. Believe in yourself. Trust yourself. Speak your truth. Because as the saying goes, those who matter won't mind, and those who mind don't matter. And that's just the truth. You have to be confident enough in yourself to not be afraid of losing other people. be more afraid of losing yourself trying to please others. And your job here is not to fit in. You know, I've attracted people into my life now because I took this journey of personal development, transformation, building confidence in myself, healing my past, my insecurities, my doubts, my fears, learning to really love and accept myself for who I am, to see myself in the mirror and go, you know what, you're not perfect, but I love you exactly the way that you are. And fuck what anyone thinks of you. And I practice that, and I show up for myself, and I look at myself in the mirror, and all the time, even in the lift, when I'm in the elevator, freaking going up to my apartment, I look at myself and I tell myself, I'm amazing. I love you, bro. I'm proud of you. And once you continue to establish that, repetition is the mother of skill. Keep doing it over and over and over again. And then guess what? You build a relationship with yourself. And that helps you to stay accountable because you don't want to disrespect. I did a video on Instagram a couple of hours ago, and I was like, I didn't want to get out of bed, but I knew I had to do legs today and I had to go to the gym. And I was lying there at 7:30 in the morning and my mind is just going, you're tired, sleep, have a nap. And I'm like, no, I've got freaking Maybach motivation to do. And if I don't go to the gym now, then I'm not going to go later. And so guess what I did? I got the fuck out of bed. I got in my car and I freaking took action. I stayed accountable to myself. I kept the promises to myself, as Ed Milet says. How do you build self-confidence? You keep the promises that you set to yourself. That's one way of building self-confidence. But the other way of building self-confidence is to do what you're not normally used to doing, and that's standing up for yourself. And for many, many years, I was always afraid. I was always afraid to stand up for myself. I was always afraid to speak my truth. I was always afraid because I was scared of hurting other people's feelings, and because I was afraid that people might bash me. I was afraid of standing up for myself because I didn't feel strong and confident and masculine in myself that I could face other people. Even in my company, in my business, sometimes I have to have these uncomfortable conversations with clients or people that are not happy for whatever reason, or they, don't follow the guidelines or the policy or the agreement that we have when they start working with me. And, sometimes people do get upset because, they like, for example, I had one person when I first started last year, and when she took action to do my work, to do my program, she didn't do any of the work. And you have an agreement. It's kind of like a gym membership, right? When you sign up and you do the program, I don't have any control over what you do. I'm showing up every single week. We do three coaching sessions every single week, and whether you show up for yourself or not, I'm not there to hold your hand. I'm not there to get you out of bed and go, hey, come on, coaching's about to start, you better get on. And then you come back to me 20 weeks later and you say, I haven't done any of the work, so give me my money back. You know what I mean? Like, what do you want me to do with that? So you got to pay attention and realize that when you are stepping into leadership, comes uncomfortable experiences, uncomfortable conversations, uncomfortable moments that you have to deal with. And, customer service is major for me, so I remember getting on a call with her, sitting with her and reasoning with her, loving on her and working out something that was fair for both of us. And that's the one thing about business and about customer service and about, helping people, because it's very easy that I've learned you can be in your ego. You can be like, nah, you're not allowed, you paid this money and that's all. And you gotta, if you didn't do the work, bad luck. And that's not how I work, I sit there and I have a big heart, so whatever I can do for you to help you. And you know what, the one thing that I've learned recently as well is that it's hard to grow. When you're so used to being who you've always been and doing what you've always done, you have this paradigm, these habits, unconscious, toxic, destructive, habitual behaviors that you don't even know that you have. And basically every day you're on autopilot. And so this is the challenge. People watch me on social media, they see me and they see what I do and they see the energy that I project and they're like, oh my God, I love that energy. Like, how many people say, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Even with my comedy, so many people are like, I saw a comment, because I posted my comedy, character, which is Hans, on my Instagram. And somebody said, which I used to get this a lot a couple of years ago, somebody said, I haven't smiled in years. And because of this video, now I'm laughing. Right? Like, what kind of an impact is that? So I know that the energy that I project is so powerful, but when it comes to doing the work, this is the challenge, and you have to want it, you have to want it, because if you don't have a strong enough why, you'll make excuses, right? You can look at me and go, oh my gosh, I want that energy, I want that confidence. But when it comes to doing the work, that is the challenge. But now, I've adjusted the way that I deliver my coaching, and I've got a leadership team. I've got success coaches that work with me. So, there's a lot of accountability that's involved with how you work with me. And that's the one thing that's changing so many people's lives, because we need accountability. We need that additional support, especially in the first month, because your mind will tell you, don't do this. That's the first thing that happens. Your mind will tell you, don't do it. You can't do it. It's not going to work. Right? Doing this program, this personal development stuff. And so you'll revert to what you've always known, and then you'll get in your comfort zone again, and then nothing will fucking change. And then you look back 20 weeks later and you're like, oh my gosh, what would have happened if I'd done the work? And so, my job is, as I'm learning as well, and it's funny, I'm talking about my program, which is called the Superpower Mastermind. The one thing that I've noticed that I have to do for many of my clients, and I win every single fucking time because I don't give up on them, is that I have to fight with their fucking self-doubt. It's like I'm not even fighting with them personally. I'm fighting with their own mind, the negative mind, the insecure mind, the self-doubt, because the self-doubt, the insecurities, the fear, right? It wins all the time. It's like, nah, can't do it. Nah, not good enough. I don't know if it's worth me doing it. It's so hard. I'm lazy. I'm procrastinating, And so many times when I get on a call with people, all I'm doing, it's like I am listening to the actual thoughts that they are thinking. I'm not even listening to like their themselves there. It's like as the person speaking, it's like I can see the cloud above their head with all their thoughts. It's crazy, man. And it's like, how do you get good at this? And I believe that everybody has a gift. I believe everyone has a gift, and it's your responsibility to tap into that gift. How do you tap into it? There's a step-by-step process for that. And that's what my program is about. It's about discovering your purpose. It's about following a guideline, a structured criteria of you becoming the version of yourself who you were born to be. Because what we're really doing is, the purpose of our life is to alleviate yourself from all your suffering, to heal your past so that it's not conflicting with your future and your present moment, so that you can have mental clarity, inner peace, because your peace is your power. And when you have that peace, you can function from a really high vibration, from having that level of self-awareness of being able to push forward and to believe in yourself and to really, really make the right decisions and choices, where you get out of your comfort zone, you surround yourself with the right people, you let go of things that are unhealthy for you, and you raise your vibration. And as you do that, you build more confidence. And as you build more confidence, you take more action. And as you take more action, you realize that you're unstoppable, and there's so many things that you can do in this life that you haven't been doing because you've been living in fear and doubt and scarcity. And one of the best things that you can do, talking about scarcity, is not watch the news. Like, I got in the car this morning to go to the gym, and before the Bluetooth connects to my phone, the news is on. And I'm like, straight away, I changed it. Because I don't want to know. I don't want to know about a recession. I don't want to know fucking what politics they're fucking doing. I don't want to know what car crashes there were, what freaking airplane crashes there were, or fucking what negative things happened overnight. I'm not interested. Why? Because negative programming will make you think negatively. And when you listen to that bullshit, it is a very low frequency. It's a very low vibration. Plant positive seeds in your mind. You're the one that's in control. You're the one that decides, what do I want to think? I was having a coaching session with my clients the other day, and I opened up this book and I said, look at this empty book. Imagine this is your brain. Take a moment, sit there for freaking 3 hours and write exactly what you want your mind to think, what you want to believe about yourself. Do it. How much do you want success? How much do you want to feel amazing? How much do you want to get your power back? Because you're the one that's in control. So sit there and look at that fucking book that you've been writing and the things that you want to think about, and read that shit every single day. How did I do it? Listening to Les Brown motivation, investing in my personal development. I freaking invested in Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi. I did a speaking program that cost me $12,000 with Lisa Nichols, right? I got in front of people. I started talking. She taught me how to formulate my story. I did another speaking program with Mind Valley, right? I invested in myself, got out of my comfort zone, took action. You want that next level, but you're not willing to invest in the one person that you have to live with for the rest of your life. I say the biggest investment that you can make is in your own personal development and inner healing. And what do I mean by inner healing? Is healing your insecurities. opening your fucking mouth that you have. God gave you a mouth. God gave you a voice, right? And many of us are not using this gift that we have, this gift of communication. Instead, we're suppressing our freaking emotions. We're suppressing our shit. And that's why I say everything that you express, you don't suppress. Now, when you're living in fear and doubt and pain and shame, and you've been physically or sexually or financially abused in relationships, maybe when how you were parented, all this pain from your past, you're debilitated. You're fucked. You're emotionally broken. Of course you're not going to freaking believe in yourself. Of course you're not going to feel worthy. Some people, on the other hand, do become successful because they've been hurt so bad and they want validation. They want to feel like they're enough. So they actually use that pain of that trauma and pain that they've been hurt to actually become massively successful. So they get a lot of recognition unknowingly that they have so much fucking trauma, and the success that they are achieving is never enough. And that's why you fucking hear about very successful people necking themselves, killing themselves, because it's never enough. You get a Ferrari, then you get a mansion, then you get a yacht, then you get fucking this, then you have fucking 10 girlfriends, then you have as many, like, you get whatever you want. You have whatever you want, but you're never fucking happy. Why? Because you're always chasing the next thing. Because you're seeking that approval, you're seeking that validation, you're seeking that external credit from the world to make you feel like you're worthy, because you're so fucking hurt. And that's why what I'm talking about is the true peace, is the true power, is the true healing. Because once you have that, guess what? You don't need validation. I don't need anyone to approve me. I approve myself. I don't need my mum to tell me that, Luke, oh, you're so amazing. I'm so proud of you. That's nice. I don't need people to like me. You liking me, that's a bonus. Thank you. I received that. But guess what? Somebody not liking me ain't going to mean that I'm going to turn around and not like myself. I'm the one that gets to choose if I like me or not. And how can you like you when you've never liked you or you've never loved you? Well, that takes time. How do you learn to understand or build trust in a relationship? How do you build a relationship or connect with someone that you want to be with for the rest of your life? What do? You go out for dinners, you go out for lunch, you talk to them on WhatsApp, you message them all the time, you send them fucking videos and photos of yourself, and you this exchange back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You spend time, you go on holidays. You got to do that shit with yourself. And that is one of the biggest fears when you're growing, is like, oh my gosh, you always talk about surrounding yourself with the right people, but I don't have the right people. And I'm like, yeah, well, how do you attract? You become. So when you become, eventually you grow, and then you attract those people into your life, because you attract, again, I said this before, you attract what you are, not what you want. Do you understand? So while you're listening to this, I want you to do some work right now. The first thing I want you to do, which is very, very important, which is what I do every single day, I say it's a blessing to be alive. And then I was like, I'm going to think about 5 things that I'm grateful for. Keep myself in a positive state of mind. So I said, I'm grateful for my voice. I'm grateful I can speak. I'm grateful I can see. I'm grateful that I'm breathing. I'm grateful I woke up another day. So take a moment and write in the comments 5 things that you're grateful for. Okay? And make being grateful a part of your daily routine, because gratitude is one of the keys to success in keeping a positive mindset. You know, there's so many different areas and keys of like your success and every single day, and how you manage your day and how you keep yourself motivated. But again, that's why I'm here to just remind you of all these different types of ways of thinking. You know, many people say everything's about your mindset. Everything's about the way you think. And I'm like, yeah, your mindset's massive, but so is loving yourself. You know, because what does that bring? It brings inner peace. And as I mentioned before, your peace is your power. Okay? You have that mental clarity. You feel good. You're not disturbed. You're not sitting there in your trauma and your pain, feeling unhappy because of what happened in the past. Okay? And it's very important for you to know that, because it's so easy to be in your own way. And that's why I say, nah, man, I'm not against me anymore. I used to be. I'm for me. Okay, this life isn't about being perfect. I'm not perfect. I enjoy a cocktail. You know, people can say alcohol is bad, right? And each to their own. My job is not to be like anybody else. My job is to be myself. I enjoy a margarita, sexy one. You know, I enjoy 2, maybe 3 sometimes. But guess what? I have so many responsibilities that I don't have time to drink. But there will be occasions in the future where I'll be with my family, where I'll be with the people that I love, and I will have a drink because I like it. Do what you like. Do what you love. Do more of that. Because the more that you do of what you enjoy, now pay attention. If I was to start drinking every night, it would lower my vibration. I wouldn't be waking up feeling fresh and amazing. And feeling fresh and amazing and having the energy to be able to coach and to be able to, you know, serve all of my clients and everybody that I work with privately and in my group coaching and with my team and everybody that I connect with. This kind of energy that I have is a product of my actions and how I take care of me and put myself first. So everything is in moderation and everything is in balance. Okay, if you eat a pizza every single day for the next 30 days, you're going to get sick of pizza. You know, if I drink every single day, like there's no meaning to it. You know what I mean? It's pointless. If you eat the same food every single day, right? You know, that's why relationships are fucking like hard. It's a work in progress. Like you think about it. If you compared a pizza to your partner, right? And you're like, well, I have to see my partner every day for the rest of my life. How do I do that? Right? That's why it requires balance. You know, you have to have a relationship with yourself. I believe having a relationship with yourself is one of the keys to a healthy relationship. You know, it's not saying, you know, I am committed to this person and this person owns me and I own them. Right? Like we are attached. We are not whole individual beings. We complete each other. And I have to beg to differ because I believe that a healthy relationship is where I am whole and complete. The other person is whole and complete. They have their own life. I have my life, you know, and the purpose of a relationship is to help each other become better versions of themselves. So my job is to become the best version of myself, and whoever I'm with is their job to be the best versions of themselves. And the purpose of a relationship is to expand and to grow, you know? And that's why if you feel like something is off in a relationship, a lot of the times what can be off is that you're growing or the other person's growing and the other person's staying the same. And when you feel that stretch, that's one of the reasons why you actually are feeling disconnected. And when you feel disconnected, you know, it's time to let go. You either communicate, try and fix it, try and work it out. Communicate. That's the key to a healthy relationship. Because then otherwise you're making assumptions. And then you've got to make decisions because guess what? You're not here for a long time. You want to be here for a good time. You want to enjoy life. You want to do what makes you happy. And if you're in a relationship that doesn't make you happy, why the fuck are you in it? You need your independence, okay? Many people fall into relationships because the other person makes all the money and then they don't have any money to be able to be independent and do what they want. So guess what? They fall into the trap, okay? You got kids. You're like, but I can't leave because they're the one that makes all the money. It's like, well, then you're fucked. And it's like, fuck that shit, man. You better bloody get off your ass and get yourself into gear so that you have your own independence so you're not relying on someone else. Get control of your freaking life. And that's the one thing I never had. I never had control of my finances, which then never gave me control of my life. I was living with my sisters for freaking years, you know, because I couldn't have my own place. I didn't have my own, you know, ability to afford things. So there's another big why for me is that I never had my own back. I never had like my own independence. You know, I had to go out and fight for it. You know, and so you got to fight for your freedom. This is what your life is here to do. You got to fight for your freedom. You got to fight for what you believe in and what you want in your life. Okay, there is no right or wrong. It's up to you to decide what you want to achieve, because there's nothing you cannot achieve. Okay, so just quickly, guys, you see on my YouTube channel all the time, it says, send me a message on Instagram. I want inner peace. Okay. The purpose of that, I'm telling you right now, the purpose of that, so you can get in touch with myself and my team, right? So we can give you some more information on how and if we could possibly help you to take action so that you can completely transform your life, so that you can grow, heal your past, build superpowered confidence, surround yourself with an extraordinary like-minded community, or maybe you want to work with me privately. And if that's the case, guess what? Send me a message, whether it's on Instagram, send me a message on my website. There's the links in the description below. You can contact me. You can say, hey, Luke, I want to work with you privately. How do I do that? How do I get started? How do I qualify for that? Okay. And you can send me a message on Instagram, because either me or my team will see it and we'll get in touch with you and we'll give you more information so that you can learn if and how I can possibly help you. Okay. So this is part of you realizing that attaching yourself to the energy that you want to become is going to help you to get there faster. Okay. Don't take advice from people who haven't been where you're going. Okay. So for example, you can be watching my YouTube channel, right? You can be watching me listen to me on Spotify or Apple, right? And you're like, man, how do I get that life? Well, invest in yourself. I was looking at Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, Lewis Howes, Ed Milet, Les Brown, right? All the Trent Shelton, all these speakers and entrepreneurs. And I'm like, how do I get that life? Well, let me invest in what they have. So I invested in Tony Robbins. I invested in Dean Graziosi. I invested in their product. Lisa Nichols, phenomenal transformational speaker, went to her conference. She said, does anyone want to do this Speakers Mastermind program? She was on stage with a couple of her clients, a couple of the people that did the program, did her speaking course, and they were speaking on stage. I'm sitting there in the conference, and I'm like, wow. I'm like, I want that. I want to be able to speak on stage like that. So what did I do? I put my hand up. I went to the back, and I invested in my speaking. You know, I didn't even have any money. I had a credit card. Like seriously, I went in debt. I went in debt to invest in myself. And I used to be in debt gambling. Me and my mates would be at the pub every weekend. I would be getting money. I'd be stealing money from my freaking church next door. My mum would have, bookstores and stuff. And I would take the money from the church and I would go and gamble. Like literally, this is what I used to do. I'd steal money from my parents all the time when I was young. You know, like, I've had to go through my own healing and forgiveness, and I've had to, I told my parents everything that I did, and so that was, buying them that car was definitely a way of me, giving back and telling them that I love them and I care about them, but there may be things that you're not proud of in the past that you've done, but it doesn't mean that you can't change. It doesn't mean that you can't grow. It doesn't mean you can't become a better version of yourself. And people, will always judge you from the version of you that they know who you are, right? People can look at me that knew me 5 years ago, 7 years ago, and they can go, oh yeah, Luke's that guy. He's the guy that he's the cokehead. He's the dude that was selling coke. I'm like, yeah, good. I was. I'm not here to fucking lie about shit. I'm just here to show you that you can change, that you can grow, that you can be a good person, that you can heal yourself. Because once you do that, right, all you do is project good energy. All you do is project positive energy, because that's what you fill yourself up with. And so what I did was I filled my cup. I filled myself up with so much love, so much positive energy, so much self-compassion, self-forgiveness. And I developed myself into just being this positive force of good energy. As you see me dancing, you see me do a bit of comedy, you see me speaking all the time, my podcast, all my social media platforms. What do I project? Positive energy and self-awareness for you to believe in yourself. I believe that everybody has the power to transform their lives. If you want to transform, you can. And that's why you got to invest in yourself. That's why, working with people who have what you want is the best fucking thing. Like, I think about the people that I hang around with, the people that have come into my life recently. I've spent some time with clients for like a week, simply because they wanted to surround themselves with me so that they could grow. And every single time it happens, all I see them do after they've left, and they completely different people. And that's why I'm in the process of creating retreats, creating opportunities for people to come and spend time with me so that they can take my energy, because again, your energy is contagious. It's like my private clients that I work with. It's like the group coaching that I have. Everyone is surrounded with this Luke mind power energy. And that's what happens. Your energy is contagious. Why do people transform their lives? Because they're surrounded by that specific energy. And that's the energy that you want to get close to, because you grow. It's contagious. This is beautiful that we're on YouTube, Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, whatever. You are tuning into this frequency. You're tuning into this energy. You're receiving it, But if you want more, then it's investment. You got to take action. People can say, all you're doing is like, I had one person send a message on my social platforms and they said, Luke's just all about the money. That's all he thinks about. And it's like, I'm doing this for free. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of this content I'm creating, posting on my social media, it's fucking free. I'm not fucking making any money from this. This is all content that I create for nothing. I've got trainings in the Dream Chasers. If you go on my website, Luke Mind Power website, have a look at all the trainings that I've done for free. And you try to tell me I'm all about the money. I'm all about giving. You know why? Because what you put out comes back. I give. I put positive energy out there into the universe because I believe in the law of attraction. What you put out comes back. Okay? And so anyone who thinks that people are all about the money, bro, I got to fucking live as well, But you got to get back something from what you give. And that's where you invest in yourself, because you are worthy of that. And you have to believe that. In order for you to believe that, you have to go through a process of developing yourself, because as you go through this journey of personal development, what happens is you build your self-worth. And then you sit here, and I sit here myself, and I'm like, of course I'm worth it. Of course people pay me to surround themselves with me because of my energy, because of the development and work that I've put on myself, and that I continue to stay consistent within myself and the life that I live, because then the energy that I have is on this high vibration that it's like, wow, I want to be around that guy. I want to surround myself with him because I want a bit of his energy. I want a bit of his knowledge. I want a bit of his time. Every person that I connect with, that I surround myself with, or that hangs out with me, their life changes. Their whole life changes simply because they surround themselves with greatness. And that's who I am. I'm the number one motivational speaker in the world. I have the podcast that's the number one motivational podcast in the world. I believe the shit out of myself. I'm not here to dim my light. I'm not here to pretend like I'm somebody that I'm not. I'm just here to be myself. And in order for you to believe that you can be the best, you have to show up every single day. And you have to invest in yourself, and you have to show up, and you have to take action. I kind of moved myself back from that kind of saying that I was the best and this and that, because I was like, you know what if it doesn't happen? Or, maybe I should just lessen the pressure by just saying, look, it doesn't matter if I'm the best, or it doesn't matter if I'm number one or whatever. I'm just going to be my best. I'm just going to show up and try, But the truth is, after doing all this work and becoming who I've become, my podcast and the content that I create, and my audience and everybody that follows me on social media, I mean, the evidence is clear. It's clear. I'm taking over Tony Robbins. I'm taking over Ed Milet. I'm taking over all these successful speakers and shit. You'll see. You will see. I don't have any doubts, man. I can just see what the fuck is going on, So, again, and I believe it. I believe it. You can sit there and think Cristiano Ronaldo thinks he's the best. He knows he's the best. That's why he's the best. And he doesn't give a shit about what you think about him. He just gets on the field because he knows how much work and energy he puts into his craft, into what he does, that when he gets on the field, he is the best. And he owns that shit. And he's very inspirational, So that's what I believe for myself as well. And the more that I invest in myself, the more that I show up, and the more that I stay consistent, creating content, speaking my truth, right? Yeah, not everybody's going to agree with me. Not everybody's going to think I'm the best. Not everybody's going to think my podcast is the number one motivational podcast, but that doesn't matter. Whatever I believe is what I manifest. And I have learned that so freaking much, that whatever I believe, whatever I speak, That's why one of the 4 agreements is be impeccable with your word, because you can create magic with your word or you can create black magic. And if you say, I'm never going to be enough, I'm never going to be good enough, I'm never going to be successful, I'm never going to achieve my dreams, my podcast is never going to reach a million people, my audience is never going to grow, I'm never going to be amazing, I'm never going to be good enough, guess what? That's exactly what's going to happen. And that's why I speak everything that I'm manifesting into existence. I speak it. So watch what comes out of your mouth. And that's why I say that I never say I am depressed. I never say I have anxiety. I never label myself. I don't have dyslexia, even though you could label me with that because I fucking struggled learning and I hated school, right? You could label me with fucking ADHD as well because, I struggle paying attention or I have a short attention span. You could label me with fucking everything if you wanted to, but I've chosen to detach myself from any sort of label and just be myself, be me, own who I am, love who I am, and stand in my authenticity. So remember that what you say is what you become. So part of the process is in becoming, when you're not where you want to be, seeing yourself in 5 years' time, right? And as you continue to grow, right, you're looking at your higher self and you have to start showing up for that's a manifestation hack. See yourself living your dream. See yourself living in that mansion. See yourself being happy. See yourself feeling amazing. Write it all down, write down a 2-year forecast of who you are in 2 years' time. I did this 2 years ago. It didn't all come true, but guess what? It was very powerful because it programs your mind in a really positive way to actually start to manifest that kind of life. I didn't know I was going to move to Dubai. I didn't know I'd be sitting in the back of a Maybach. I didn't know I was going to attract amazing people into my life. But what I did know is that if I was to take this risk of becoming a better version of myself, letting the past go, changing my environment, believing in myself, and living a relationship with myself, experiencing solitude and loving solitude, that then eventually I would attract the right people into my life. And that's one of the things that many people struggle with. They go, I'm afraid to leave my friends, or I'm afraid to leave my family, or I'm afraid to do the opposite of what I've been doing, because we don't like to be alone. When you're so used to having people in your life, many of us are suffering with something called codependency. We're dependent on something external, something outside of ourselves to make us feel like we're enough. Most of the time that is a partner. And sometimes that partner can be very, very unhealthy. Sometimes it just can be family, can be friends. And so breaking that is one of the major keys. Breaking that fear of being alone, of having time with yourself, of knowing that you don't need anyone in your life for you to be whole and complete. I'm just going to keep going, and I hope that you're going to keep coming along on this journey with me, and I hope that everything that I share inspires you to step more into your authenticity, because I've learned that as well, that the more authentic I am, it gives people, you don't need the permission, but it inspires you to also be authentic. And it's your authenticity that's going to really set you free. You being your true authentic self. Now, remember, you may not be where you want to be right now. And sometimes you've got to work in a job that you hate just to get by, to save your money, so that you can get yourself into a better position to be able to have more power, so that you can make the right choices in your life and get yourself to where you need to be. So hustle, push, stay focused, write your goals down, have a vision, plan your future. And then most importantly, guys, invest in yourself. If you want to work with me, send me a message, man. Get in touch with me, because your next level of life is on the other side of that bullshit story that you keep telling yourself as to why you can't have it. And that's a saying that I learned from Dean Graziosi. And one day you're going to see me speaking on stage, hanging around with Dean Graziosi, Tony Robbins, Lewis Howes, Ed Milet, Tom Bilyeu, Trent Shelton, all these dudes that I looked up to, Gary Vee. You're going to see me sitting at a table with them, and they're going to say, how did you do it? And I'm going to say, I was inspired by all of you. I invested in you. And that helped me to grow, because I understand that energy is contagious. I love you guys. Never give up on your dreams. And I'll catch you on the next episode of Maybach Motivation. Peace out. Keep going.
Thank you for joining me on this journey of self-discovery and growth. If you're ready to grow and reach your full potential and find inner peace, send me a DM that says, I want inner peace, and I'll send you the next steps. You can accomplish anything you set your mind to. When you change your mind, you change your whole life. So don't hesitate and send that DM over to me. Myself and my team can't wait to meet you and witness your transformation in full glory. See you next week.